Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Penny Lane Podcast. Today, Blaine chats with Aaron Spivak about building out Hush, what sets them apart, and so much more. This episode is brought to you by Last Bottle Wines. If you enjoy, please rate, review, and subscribe.
Hello, Aaron. Welcome to the Penny Lane Podcast. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. Thanks for coming on. I asked you before we started if you'd done a lot of podcasts, and you said you'd done some. Is that one of those blue mics you have? What brand of mic is that you have?
It's it is blue. It's Yeti.
Blue.
Right?
The blue Yeti. Yeah. Do you like that one?
It's okay. I don't get to hear myself in real time ever, so it's like usually after the fact, I'm like, oh, I was too far, I was too close, like the settings weren't right, but it's a good mic. I enjoy it.
It's a good mic. Do you find it on Amazon?
I got it like 3 years ago, but yeah, probably on Amazon.
Yeah. They have good reviews on Amazon of the Yeti mic. I used to use a Yeti mic, but interestingly enough, microphones are not built in a way that like makes women's voices sound like they do in real life. Like all microphones are built for men's voices. So when I started the podcast, I got a lot of like feedback of like, her voice is awful. Like I can't listen to her voice. So I went pretty deep down the rabbit hole of what you can use as a woman that makes your voice sound good. So anyway, I just switched microphones, but I liked the Yeti.
Yeah, I think you can even adjust for that, I believe. I just don't know. Like treble or something.
Yeah.
There's a way to add a little bit.
Yeah.
Not that I know of.
All right. So thanks for coming on. Where are you from?
So I'm based in Toronto, Canada.
Oh my gosh. I love Canada. It's like a whole thing on the podcast. I love Canada the most. My friend has a lake house on a lake called Amick, which is like 2 hours north of Toronto.
That's awesome.
And I go up and visit her. There's a fantastic Nike store that sells amazing Air Jordans in Toronto.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know which one. I used to live by that store.
Yeah, I went up and I'm like obsessed with sneakers. So I took my daughter there and it was an amazing experience.
Yeah.
We got some matching shoes that she's since grown out of, but
they were fun while it lasted.
Totally. Also, the Four Seasons Toronto is a killer hotel.
And the spa is incredible.
And the bar.
The tea bar.
Yeah. The bar.
Yeah,
so
the tea bar's up there.
Were you born in Toronto?
I was, yeah. I come from a family of 5 boys, and my parents had the original first 3. I'm the 4th. The first 3 they actually had in Israel before they moved to Canada, and they moved to Canada, had me and my younger brother, and my mom's pretty open about wanting a girl, and she got 5 boys, so that's my story.
Is she an amazing boy mom?
Yeah, she'd whoop all our asses.
Yeah.
She's stronger than all of us.
My son is 8, and I also desperately wanted a boy and a girl, but my first baby was a boy, and then I got a girl. And he is playing baseball now, and we made it to the like World Series in Little League this year.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
I mean, it was like one of the best days of my life. I was like, I'm a boy mom. I'm a baseball mom now. Like I was all in on the baseball.
Yeah, we were playing pretty competitive hockey at one point, and my mom got into it. Yeah, she knows all the cheers, and she'd bring us snacks. It was the whole thing.
So one of my good friends is, he is in his 60s now, and he's from Canada, and he still plays hockey like 2 or 3 times a week.
Yep, some guys hold on.
They're lifers, I think. Yeah,
they make it happen. That's common.
So you're raised in Toronto, and then what about for school? Have you ever left?
So high school is like I went to like a sports specific school. Still a public school.
For hockey?
Yeah, for hockey. Well, I was
very cool.
Playing pretty competitively, and then my goal was to get a hockey scholarship and go play down in the U.S. My older brother did that. Um, but I just kind of fell into my family. My dad had a stroke when I was like 18, I think, and just being the main like provider, kind of took a turn from a family finance perspective, and I couldn't just go and leave and do my own thing. So my brothers and I started like a cold press juice shop out of our house,
Uh-huh.
and just like didn't really know where it was going, but once we realized that it was really sink or swim, and we really needed to swim. We opened our first retail location like 150 meters from my parents' house, um, and we were lucky enough to really hit it, and kind of saved the ship. So then I kind of put hockey on the back burner. My brother was playing pro at the time. He quit. We kind of just, I left university, and we all just kind of went all in on building this out.
So, did your dad pass away? Or
No, he
no, no.
basically he was a truck driver, and um, it was an interesting stroke because he like forgot languages and forgot passwords, and like, but you lose your license immediately,
Yeah, oh,
and
yeah,
you
yeah.
can't drive, you can't work, so it was pretty traumatic for him and for us because we were like, oh my God, so.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, thankfully he's okay.
Okay, okay. And so are all your brothers okay, okay. So what made you be like, I'm gonna cold press these fruits into a juice? Like why did or you're an athlete. Is that why?
Yeah, I mean, we were like using health as like a tool, a cheat sheet, just to get more out of our bodies. So like my mom would wake up early, like cut veggies and stuff and juice. Like, most kids are going to school with a juice box. I'm going to school with 3 pounds of celery juice in my bag.
Yeah, yeah.
So we were always on it. My mother did a 70-day juice cleanse, which I wouldn't recommend to anyone, but she did it, and she lost almost 90 pounds and really transformed her life. Like, just started glowing, and energy was high and vibes were good. And obviously her friends were like, what are you doing? Like, what's the secret? What's the
Yeah,
one thing
yeah.
you're doing? And she's like, oh, I'm just juicing. One thing led to the next, and then one person tried it and they had good results. The next person tried and they had good results.
Wait, you said 70
Yeah,
days?
7-0. Crazy. No food.
This, there's a documentary.
Yeah, she
Uh,
was she went and met that guy. I forget, Joe, right? I think
okay.
Joe, yeah.
Yes, and there was a truck driver
Yep.
who was juicing in the back of his truck. Yes.
So that movie
Yes.
kind of started it all for us.
Okay, that was the trigger?
That was a trigger, yeah. We
Oh,
used to bring people over to watch
whoa.
the movie and host like movie nights.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. That's a good movie. That's a great
great movie, yeah.
yes, that's the movie that launched like 1,000 Breville sales, I'm sure. Like
Oh yeah.
that. Yeah.
He made his own juicer, I think, at one point. He's
Oh,
got stores
really?
at Joe and the Juice all over New York, all over the U.S. actually.
Fascinating that's the thing that did it. Was your mom overweight? She had to have been overweight, or else she would have been like,
Yeah, I mean, not like not severely. Um, so it wasn't like an easy 70, even though I don't think an easy 70 exists for anyone. But
yeah,
if you have more to lose, it's easier to shed the first like 10-20% of it.
yeah.
So it was a hard 70, but she definitely did it. Yeah.
Whoa, whoa. Well, I have a question just because I talk on the podcast for the listeners. I talk all the time about just like sacrifices that it takes to get the things that you really want. And when I'm a painter, and then sort of in the pandemic turned day trader, turned podcaster, and I like do all of those things. But, and I have all of these goals, and I've sort of sacrificed things along the way in order to kind of get these things that I want. And I've talked a lot about, I stopped drinking for a long time when I first started trading, because just like my mind wasn't working the way I wanted it to, and I wasn't as clear, and I couldn't make you have to make split second hard decisions and stuff like that. So I want to know if when your mom was doing the juice cleanse, was it just juice, or did she like drink it all? Did she do anything, or was it just the only thing she put in her body was the juice?
She never really like she doesn't drink, so for that it wasn't difficult for her. But yeah, she was pure 5 juices a day,
Fascinating.
70
So she
days.
really made the commitment.
Oh yeah, she did.
Yeah.
She still
I
does
like
from time to
people.
time, but not that long. She probably does like 5 days at a time now.
Now, did she gain any of the weight back after the juicing?
Usually you gain a little bit like water weight back, but the way like we did it was that we forced a tremendous amount of water intake on a daily basis, so there wasn't that much water weight that was being shed. But yeah,
Uh
you
huh.
probably gain back 3 to 5 pounds in water weight, um, but nothing significant. I mean, if you go back and you don't eat well, and I'm sure
Yeah.
it's inevitable, but it's and it was used, and we still use it till today. It's just to kickstart something that you're
Sure.
going for, not to be the cheat sheet.
So you and your brothers also, I mean, you're doing juice cleanses as well
Oh yeah,
during this whole thing. You have to live the
oh yeah,
story.
yeah.
Yeah.
Still do them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're still doing the juice business.
So when I was 23, so 2016, 2017, um, I kind of fell in love with ecom and the opportunity that was there. I mean, for us, every time we wanted to scale the business, we'd have to sink, $250,000 on opening up a new location, and then
Right.
you have to cross your fingers and build the business all over again in that new spot and get into the community. And it's like it's a process. And if you're lucky, within
Yeah.
3 to 5 years, you get your money back, and then if you're even more lucky, you get a cash flow positive business. That is super painful because you work and then you finally make money and then you got to sink it, bet the farm again and bet the farm again and again and again. And we've done it. We've got, 9 locations, been around for now 8 years, 9 years. So it's been great. But the opportunity with ecom was interesting to me because it's like, oh, if I want to sell across the world, I don't need any additional investment.
Yeah.
I can distribute everywhere. And that to me was super fascinating because if I literally want to enter a new community, I needed to open up a store. Now I can enter countries. And all I need to do is set up, really the basics that you have to set up anyway. So I kind of fell in love with it. And in 2018, Leor, my business partner, and I launched Hush, which was the idea that weighted blankets were for everybody and that they should be a little bit more premium because improper weight distribution leaves you with your legs falling asleep in the middle of the night because all the weight's on them. Impossible to wash it. If your dog or someone pees on it, it's done. You got to throw it out. Um, Heating, they traditionally are just super hot, and no one likes waking up in a pool of sweat. So we're like, we can, the demand is there, just the product hasn't developed enough to support what the people really want. And so we launched Hutch on that idea that we can make a premium weighted blanket that works.
Wait,
And
question.
mhm,
Were you using a weighted blanket at the
yeah,
time
I
to
bought
like
like all of
know?
them. Yeah, like
Okay,
every
yeah,
single
sure.
one. And I was
Market
so
research.
frustrated. I was like, really, no one no one has just solved this. Like, why? Like most of
Did
them didn't cover your feet.
did you buy? Why did you buy the first one?
So my business partner spent time volunteering at a camp that provided like services for children that had disabilities or different needs. And we have this kind of stimulation room, and I would just and he would spend a ton of time in that room, and he fell in love with all the weighted devices they had and to help relax the nervous system. And he's like, kids who want to relax use it, but adults, have stress, have anxiety, have insomnia, have a lot going on. Why can't we take advantage of it? And at the time, I wanted to hack my sleep. I'm still kind of a hacker. I always try to find new ways to improve certain areas, and that's kind of when I wanted to try the weighted blanket.
fascinating. So you bought one, it wasn't the right one. You bought another one, wasn't the right one. Is that correct?
Yeah, essentially we're just like, we would read reviews basically. I'd find the top ones that were on the internet, and I'd read all the 1-star reviews, and I'd be like, there's a common theme here. Everybody doesn't like the weight, they don't like the distribution, they don't like the size, they don't like the color, they don't like the texture. Like, there's so many issues here, but there's still thousands of people purchasing. So the demand was there. Just I didn't think the product was good enough to support the demand.
So then you go from juice. And does your business partner, does he know a lot about manufacturing, or how?
He comes from from actually the tech world, so he was really good when we were building out our site and understanding marketing really online, which is much different than the way I was doing it, which is knocking on gym doors, creating relationships, like doing sampling at yoga studios, like much different. So we have a very diverse background, and that was super complimentary, especially when we were first starting. So that way we didn't have to hire anyone. Like, he was really good at certain things, and I was really good at certain things. And then, obviously he had a SaaS business that he was running, and I had the juice business that I was running. So we would do that from like 6 a.m. till 3 or 4, relax from like 3 to 4 till like 5 or 6, maybe grab dinner, and then we'd work from like 7 until usually midnight or 1 a.m. Every night, building out Hush.
Amazing. I have a good friend who has come on the or he's a friend, not great friend, but he's come on the podcast. His name's Al Hill, and he built a SPAC during the pandemic in order to IPO it on the U.S. markets. And he was working in investment banking at the time, and so was his partner. And his partner would sleep. Like, he wanted to hack how to get as much time out of every single day. So he would work from 7 a.m. in the morning until 10 o'clock or so at night at his investment banking job. And then at 10 o'clock until 3 in the morning would work on getting everything you needed for the SPAC and building that out. And then he would sleep under his desk and shower at the gym in the office. And then he would arrive go back in the office, and people were like, this guy's the first guy here every morning, but he just never left. But what's interesting is both of those founders were professional Ivy League tennis, not professional. They were Ivy League tennis players, and then they went on to be professional tennis players. So they were very used to that grind and drive, which it sounds... So, that sounds very similar to your story of just being very focused and getting as much as you can out of every day, which we're sort of on that journey in this podcast as well, but it is just focus. So people day trade for financial freedom for their family, for their lives, so they don't have to work. They're working for a better life. And there's all these kind of building blocks that we talk about, mentality, psychology, health, sleep, all of these ways of getting your life into sort of perfect order so that you can mentally be perfect, so that you can go for these goals, which I think leads to kind of a strong connection very much between what you're doing with the juice and the blanket, kind of just optimizing yourself for success.
Yeah, definitely. You got to know when to push and pull, because burnout is real, and it could be quite dangerous. But I tell people when they ask me why I do so much is I've seen what happens at different stages in everyone's journey, and I know I'm in a stage now where I have the luxury to spend all this time and build out as much, because I've seen my brothers go through it, I've seen friends go through it, when you get married and you have kids, and not that they take up your time, as you want to spend that time. You want to be at your son's baseball World Series tournament on the weekend. You don't want to be on your phone dealing with emails, right? And that's an opportunity cost, but it's one that you want to make. and
Right.
one that I would want to make as well. But I need to realize the disproportionate advantage I have in just my available time. Um, and no sense in wasting it, in my opinion,
Right.
because it just becomes. I mean, your plate just gets more and more full as time goes on. I find it doesn't go the other unless you like retire maybe, but like before that point, it just keeps filling up.
For sure. How old are you?
27.
27. And you started when you were like 18?
Yeah, about 18. Yeah.
Interesting. So you spent 10 yeah, 10 years. It's a long,
It's been a
that's a
journey.
long, yeah. Are you still pushing as hard at 27 as you were at 23? Or are you
A funny
getting like,
question because so early last year or end of last year, so October, we were actually acquired by a big Canadian sleep giant called Sleep Country, and many people just assume that like that's it, like he's gonna take his foot off the gas, and it's the question I get every time I see someone I haven't seen in a while. It's like, what are you doing now? And it's like, did you actually think I'd be doing anything different? Like,
right, right.
um, so yeah, I mean, it's fun for me. I'm not grinding. I'm not I'm not in it in a way that like I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna do this because I know it's gonna pay out, or like I have to do this. Like that doesn't cross my mind. It's almost the other way around. I need to stop sometimes and be like, I need to eat,
Right.
and like I need to like go outside and see the sun for a second.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I just don't. I'm just in it all day long. So I'm not a huge fan of hustle culture, but I do know that when you enjoy something, you want to just do it all day. Like as a kid, I loved, like I mean, I still enjoy playing hockey, but like all I wanted to do was be outside and play hockey. Like I would scam my homework so I can go outside and play like on the street. That's all I wanted to do. And I can do it all day long. I had unlimited energy, it seemed. But when it came to my homework or when it came to reading a book or whatever, I was just like, it was like a daunting task. And I find that adults have fun too. And if you're lucky enough that, as I think I'm pretty lucky in the sense that I get to do what I enjoy. But I'm open enough to say if I ever don't enjoy it, people will know. I just won't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Irrational exuberance? When it comes to killer wine at drastically low prices, 30 to 70% off retail and free shipping, we live for that here at Last Bottle Wines. Whether you went long or short on GameStop, you'll need a glass of something terrifically tasty, and we've got the goods. Last Bottle is a daily wine site based in Napa, California. One wine every day at Black Swan event prices, usually 30 to 70% off until poof, it's gone. Whether you're a pound the table type, think ultra crisp, quaffable Sauvignon Blanc, or a dividend aristocrat, Burgundy, or Napa Cab, there simply is no better place to buy wine on the web, and they always have free shipping. Last Bottle has a deal just for Penny Lane listeners. Use promo code PENNY10 to save 10% on your next order with Last Bottle. The code is good for one order and one order only.
Okay. All right. So once your company got acquired, what did your role become?
Our roles didn't change much. We got we got a really cool deal where we get to stay on board for 2 to 3 years, and I truly love what we've built. I think a lot of sleep products, beds, blankets, pillows. I mean, we've expanded Hush way beyond weighted blankets, and they're historically have always been designed just around price and thread count
Yeah.
and like springs, like really weird terms that no one understands, but value. And diving into the space, we've realized that a lot of people are just repackaging the same thing with a different
Yeah.
label, and there's no
Yeah.
functionality to it. And all of our products are designed to have real tech and functionality design that does something for you in your bed. And our biggest thing is our cooling, our iced fabric, which keeps people cool all
Oh,
night.
that's cool.
Yeah, so many of us are overheating. So our iced blanket, our ice sheets, we have the ice in our pillow.
Wait, what is it? This is amazing because I just sweat. I'm from Georgia. I'm sweat. What's the ice thing?
That's awesome. Yeah. So, so many people are just sweating, right? It's
just
terrible.
Sweating. And my husband doesn't. And so I keep our AC on like 67 and he's freezing. He's like in a sweat. He's so cold. And I'm just like, oh, I can't. And then you find like a cold spot in the bed and that's like the best it possibly gets. But then it warms up. This is a real problem.
Yeah.
And I looked probably 5 years ago. I did a lot of research about like a cooling mattress.
Yeah.
Anyway, have you hacked that? You have a
We
solution?
sell a cooling mattress. Yeah. There's a few solutions. One, you can put an actual device in your bed. I don't really support that too much because it kind of messes with your circadian rhythm if you're throwing a big fan or a water tube that pushes through. And you should be fairly still in your bed. You shouldn't have any current moving through it. But some people love that. What we've done is, we've got a bunch of cooling products. In our mattress, we infused titanium and graphite is just really good at pulling temperature, whether it's hot or cold, but we are the reason the bed is hot. Pulling it away from the source and moving it to other areas of the bed that are not being touched. So it's constantly taking the heat and moving it away. So if you took a piece of graphite and put it on a piece of ice, it'll essentially just cut right through that ice with minimal effort, as opposed to if you took a knife or something, you'd have to like press it and it would crack off, right? Graphite would go right through like butter. And the reason it does that is because it pulls the heat away. And then we infuse that with titanium as well. That gives it the strength, because graphite's kind of like lead. It's not lead, but it's kind of weak like lead. So we basically created this cooling layer. And the same thing is in our sheets. The way they're finished with that graphite finish. We do a cross weave without getting too geeky. It's basically, people have done like some art classes, of course, right? There's like that cross hatching.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So, most people think like 1,000 thread count, 1,500 Egyptian cotton is like special or something, right? But thread count is not, it doesn't mean what people think it means. People think it means softness or, quality perhaps. It's just essentially how many threads are in a square inch. It doesn't equate to pretty much anything, but it does equate to trapping heat. So the more threads, the less airflow, the more heat you actually absorb. So we don't want to go to 200 thread count, because at that point you actually start to notice, just more prone to tears.
Yeah.
So we wanted to create a 1,500 thread count feel, but with the breathability of a 300 thread count, and then use organic bamboo to conduct the temperature. And we did it with cross hatching, and it works beautifully. It's super cool sheets. They stay cool to the touch.
This is fascinating. Do you know the company Parachute
Yep.
out of LA? So I wrote a blog for a long time, and I like partnered with Parachute because I'm just very into luxury bedding at the time. So I did a whole like advertising partnership with them, and it was so interesting the way they did their marketing. Like the way they went about it was explaining thread count to people, but like I was basically trying to take their marketing and then spin it and sell it to my blog readers or whatever. And it's just not really something that like the mind can comprehend in a very digestible sort of way. Like it's a very tough space. And then also trying to sell mattresses is it's just hard to educate people on things like that. But it does seem like if you can say these have, the best quality, the best this, and they keep you cool, sort of the and is an interesting like marketing piece to that, I would think. The Parachute thing was so interesting too, because also their sheets, unfortunately, after I like sold all these sheets to my people, the sheets would pill. They
pill and they tear.
Yep, and they tear. Yeah. So they pill immediately, and then they tear a few months in. And it's
that's just a sourcing issue. Yeah.
They were talking about, is it Italy? Where is it that all the sheets?
I mean, sheets are interesting because they're easy to make, hard to make well. It's kind of like a mattress, actually. Mattresses are super easy to make, especially the ones that people sell foam in the box. It's literally a slice of
Like a
foam rolled up in a
like a
box.
Casper or something?
Yeah, Casper's four
Yeah.
layers of foam glued together with a glue you wouldn't eat, and then you sleep on it for 5 to 10 years, and your body has a little body impression in it. You get angry, but you're like, well, I can't be that mad. I only spent X amount on the mattress, and the psychology is there to support why they've sold so many.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between I just need something to sleep on versus I'm not having a good sleep.
Yeah.
So we stay out of the I need just something to sleep on. Like I just need a pillow. I just need a blanket. I
Yeah.
just need sheets. It's like there's guys who own that. They sell $39.99 sheet. It's like that are pretty
Yeah.
good. We don't want to enter that space. Our space is, hey, I need to level up. I'm sweating. I'm not having deep sleeps. My pillow's hurting my neck. It's a little too big. You know, Whatever it is. Our pillow's fully adjustable. It's cooling on one side, not cooling on the other. It's easy to wash because our pillows are just nasty historically. So we solve the problems that are actually disturbing your sleep without making it super complicated. Um,
Right.
I think Beer's a great brand. They sell primarily on aesthetics. They have really beautiful stuff.
Yes,
Um,
beautiful, and it's
mhm.
marketed beautifully, and the story is it. They, I have
It's
nothing
immaculate.
bad to say about
Yeah.
them, other than the fact that their sheets rip, and that sucks.
It's just
But
they're not selling anything really of like high quality. Like we source our fabric from China, send it to Israel for cross weaving, then back to China for packaging. No one's going to do that
right,
because they don't need to. But we need our sheets have straps. They stay on your bed. You don't wake up and you're sleeping on the mattress. You're like, where's my sheets?
yeah,
Like everything is well thought out to solve the headaches of in your bedroom.
yeah.
We're starting to look a little prettier, I would say. Like we're getting more and more aesthetic naturally, but we're not selling you on having a pretty bed. We're having you having a good sleep. That's really our MO.
Shouldn't you merge the
But
two? Shouldn't it be a beautiful,
that's
beautiful?
our struggle. We're working on that. Yeah, we're getting our new site that's going to be launching in August is pretty aesthetic. We're really expanding the way we look without sacrificing the way we feel, and like you can't have all colors because certain dyes are harmful and they can actually cause skin irritation. Um, so when I see like a
It,
huge color selection on a pair of sheets, even if it's on Amazon, I'm like, ugh. Like you want to shop from brands that probably offer a max of 6 colors, I would say, and nothing too
yeah.
far out of the basics, because then the dyeing process is proper.
So you've been acquired, and
hmm
you've been acquired because you had a lot of sales. Is it for a lot of sales, or you had just an incredibly good quality product?
Um, we scaled the business quite fast. Um, our first year, I think we did like 700 grand in sales, just Leo and I selling 3 variants, and then we 10x'd it the year after that, and then we've been doubling it every year ever since. We've got a quarter
Yeah.
million customers sleeping with our products, all within 48 months or less, actually.
And so what is having the business be acquired? What do they do for you?
A lot. They're the largest sleep retailer in the country, and they're publicly traded, and they're just they've got 400 retail doors. Not that we're in them, but when it comes to distribution, when it comes to procurement, R&D, fulfillment, all the things that as a brand marketer and as a guy that loves product and building it out doesn't want to deal with, but they have to.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, they've been a huge support there, and it's tough to scale to like that. It's tough to become that $100 million business without um, that level of support, and then you end up spending a ton of time building it internally, and that
Mhm.
every time we're building out our C-suite, or we're gonna hire a CFO, and like that whole project doesn't move the needle, but it needs to happen, and it takes the focus away from what we want to be doing. So direct access to that, and they're also incredibly smart. So just having access to people that have been in the space for longer than I've been alive
Yeah.
is really cool.
I really like this idea of like I have been a marketing director for like 20 years, so I like love a story you can sell, but I really love the like luxury and functionality and commitment to quality, and like all of that is such a like sticky, meaty package that you've created. That it's really incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the luxury. Well, I don't know what your prices are. Are they luxury products?
They were, but just I feel like everyone is catching up in terms of prices. So I mean, our sheets are like $130, maybe $140. I wouldn't say that's overly luxurious for what you're getting in terms of pricing. Probably should be more expensive, to be honest. That's why they're sold out. We've got a 4-month waiting list right now on our sheets. You can't get them, so probably has to do with the price. But they're great value. We have a 1.5% return rate, and there's free returns,
Amazing.
which is virtually unheard of. I think a more comfortable one to be between 5 and 10%.
Have you heard of the brand Vintner's Daughter?
No.
You should look. It's a very interesting. It's a face oil, and it was done by a woman whose family has been in the wine business for generations. And their wine business focuses on making the best wine from just grapes. And she like took that process and put it into face. It's just face oil, and they only have 2 products, and it's like the entire supply chain is just getting like the very, very best of all of these things to put into the oil, but making it like wine. But it's a very interesting story that's like kind of reminding me of you, because it's sort of like you saw like the problem with sleep, but and then like sourced the different things to make it all better, I guess. Interesting.
Yeah, and a lot of what we do is, how did we go from a weighted blanket company to a full-on sleep company? It's all been really crowdsourced through our customers and our community. It's always like, hey, how can we support you guys in your bedroom? And it's like, well, I like a pillow that's very big, and I like a pillow that's freshly flat. I like it cold. I like it neutral. I like one that washes. And it's like, okay, I like one memory foam. I like it microfiber. And it's like, how do we make? Okay, let's solve that problem, right? Because no one has the perfect pillow. Oh, I like the size of it, but it's a little too firm, So like, there's customizations aspects. So same thing with our sheets. It's like, hey, like what if you could design your own sheet with a magic wand? What would it have? It's like, oh, it would be cooling. It would have a way where it never pulls off the bed because, I hate
That's
when
a problem.
you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like little things that it washes easy. Right, so it doesn't get stains from the body oils that leak off into it. That the pillowcases have a way to actually hold my pillows in, so I don't sleep. Like little things like that, where like we can solve these problems for our customers, and it just so happens 9 times out of 10 our customers aren't that unique. There's other people experiencing the same issues. Same thing with our weighted blankets, which is why we have the largest selection in the world. It's just because like every innovation that's come out of it has simply become from our customers. Our zipper technology that basically fastens the inner weight to our cover. Like no one wanted to go in and tie the loops anymore. They're like,
Right.
it's a pain. So we're like, how do we get rid of that pain? And we just created a zipper. You just literally attach a zipper and it zips the whole thing on, zips the whole thing off, throw it in the wash. I think we timed it. It's under a minute. So that's been our innovation. Even with our mattress, I spent 18 hours a week for 6 weeks interviewing our best customers for an hour each on if they could design their own bed, what would it have? And it would be cooling. I don't want to feel my husband get up in the middle of the night because he needs to go and pee 4 times. I like all those things, right? Or so no motion transfer. It needs to work with my adjustable base. it needs to not sink. I hate the body impressions, like all these little things that are a common problem. We're like, okay, so now we know where we're shooting. We know what we need to solve for. And then it makes it easy once to launch. You're not so worried about, okay, now how am I going to market this? It's like, hey, I know all the problems. This is my solution. And let me tell you guys how I did it.
Fascinating. I like all of this. I like how you went about it. I like the customer interviews. It's all.
Yeah. We're selling a product that is sold, in the US, it's sold like everywhere, literally everywhere. And, so many times I'm at a dinner table.
Wait, your product is sold everywhere in the US?
No, not yet. I said like sheets, like the actual type of product is sold anywhere.
Yeah.
We're sold everywhere in Canada. In the US, we're just starting our journey there. I think probably like maybe 80 doors, something like that. But we'll be in like the Macy's and the Nordstroms and that stuff soon. But, I think that there's like everyone has that place that they subscribe to, right? It's like, oh, I get my sheets from this person. It's like, why? And it's always just one little thing, right? Oh, well, I saw this art. I saw this. Like, there's just one little moment in that journey that connected up something in their brain that said, that's what I want. That's what I want in my bed. And then the product needs to deliver. Obviously, in your case, they started ripping on them. And you're like, oh, my God, I feel so bad. I shilled this out to my community, and now, they're angry. But aside from that, that's why we're so community focused. It's because if we've spent the money marketing, we've spent the money getting the product in your bed, we've spent the money making a product good enough that you're happy and you tell your friends about it, why would I go anywhere else to expand? We can do it from within. And that's how we've been really able to scale. We've kind of created like an army.
Do you guys do any work with hotels?
We just started dabbling with it. Most hotels, and probably more than most, I don't know if there's a bigger word than most, but like 99% of hotels carry the worst quality of everything. They just couldn't care less.
So funny. So what you're saying, that like magic moment or that one little thing, I've already mentioned the Four Seasons. It's my favorite place. My bed came because I liked everything at the Four Seasons and was like, I want all that, and then just bought.
So they're super smart, obviously.
Of course.
So they did, I think, a collaboration, I believe, with Stearns and Foster. I'm not quite sure, but with a manufacturer that, and then they private labeled everything. So they have like their own pillow, their own sheet. So they actually invested in it properly because they had a plan to sell it. So they're selling the pillow, like, oh, you love your pillow? Here, buy it. Which is super strategic and smart. If I was a hotel, that's exactly what I would be doing. Why not? I mean, my business partner and I own an Airbnb up in Muskoka, which is...
I saw that. Yeah.
And, it's got a 5-bedroom. It sleeps 15. You bet they're sleeping on Hush.
Of course. Of course they are.
It's the same thing. And, we got little QR codes beside the bed, and so many people will be like, hey, what was that pillow, and what was those sheets? It's just like, this is how you can get it. So I would do the same thing, but they're a chain that does that. There's a few hotels in Miami that do it, but still not to the level that, like, Four Seasons is an anomaly.
So my husband worked for Four Seasons for 10 years. So I mean, I'm a big fan. I've been to a lot of them. I just am dedicated to the brand. But listening to him talk to me about their attention, it so closely resembles sort of what you're doing. They are so dedicated to removing pain points. Anything that could possibly be a pain point. It's just like, done. You go in the Four Seasons, it's magical. It's like
we're a huge fan.
Everything, massive. And how could you not be? Like, it is a beautiful brand that is so focused on customer service and just like experience. And he So my husband managed the room blocks, and he would sometimes have to go in and like turn rooms, and like even the thought that goes into the like making of the, it's all, I don't know, makes my like marketing mind just so excited. Anyway, love the Four Seasons, and that's where our bed came from. But it's been 8 years now, and it is like there are holes. I mean, it has worn, right? The whole like mattress has worn. So then it gets into, okay, well, I enjoyed this mattress. Like, do you then go back to your thought behind where you got your mattress from? Or are you like, if I could do it again, I would like it to be cooler? Or that's interesting too, the whole life cycle of a mattress.
Yeah, 8 years is a long time. Most people try to get 10. A mattress is irrelevant after 5. If you got an all foam bed, which you don't, but if you do, it's relevant after 2 years.
Yeah.
And it leaves it like, that's why the repeat purchase rate on foam beds is so low, because people have a bad taste in their mouth because they try to actually get 5, 6, 7 years out of a piece of foam.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really even get like 5, 6, 7 washes out of a sponge that you wash your dishes with. Why would you expect anything different out of your bed? So yeah, I mean, I would reflect. I mean, the technology 8 years ago and the technology today is much different. People change their cars more
Yeah.
often than they change their bed. You spend more time in your bed than you do in your car, most likely.
Yeah.
You spend more money on gym memberships that we don't use than we do on our bed over the course of however long you keep your bed. There's just so many examples of investing in things that are less important in our life than our mattress. And simply because I think my guess is the pain of changing a mattress. You got to get rid of it. You got to lift it. It's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
You don't
Yeah.
want to deal with
Yeah.
it. So I get
It's
it.
good enough,
Yeah,
you
it's like, it's
know.
not that bad, It's
Yeah, right.
until you get a really good one, and you're like, wow. But you're sleeping on a Stearns and Foster build, which is a really good build. They've been around for a really long time. They've been making pocket coil mattresses. I was lucky enough to see their production when we were doing our research, and it's a really high quality bed. I don't think they don't do cooling well. It's not what they're proud of themselves for.
Hence my AC bill, right?
Yeah, they
Like,
don't do cooling well. It's not their sauce. But they make a good strong build. It's proper tuft, proper needling. It's I'm surprised you have any holes in it at all. But it's 8 years, so things happen. And
yeah.
yeah, I'd probably start
I've
looking at a new
also
bed.
suffered a back injury in the past 8 years, which I have a soft mattress. And so now
You need
I
a
like,
more firm of a mattress.
I'm in the, who knew?
Yeah, there you
Until
go.
I talked to you, I was like, we're getting along. We're fine.
We'll get you a Hush mattress. You'll be sleeping like never before.
Totally. So when I was DMing you, I was asking you about Jesse Itzler, who I'm a massive fan of, one of the nicest people I know personally, and like magical. How do you know him?
Interesting. I would say, probably like everyone else, originally just Instagram DM.
Oh, okay.
Back when I was starting Hush, we did a Kickstarter for the world's coolest weighted blanket,
Oh,
and
fascinating.
it was I think we were just starting out, and I forget exactly what he said, but I sent it to him, and he's something encouraging. I forget what he said. Something about keep it
Yeah.
going or something like that, and it
Yeah.
ended up being a top 10 Canadian campaign of all time, and we've sent him a whole bunch of product. He's always been really responsive, and just an incredible person. I ended up doing his mountain climb, the
Yeah.
29.
Yes,
Yeah.
my friend won that.
Oh my god.
The woman, she's a woman. Wait, she was on the baseball team. She's one of the moms on the baseball team. But she won because she never stopped.
Oh my god.
Yes, and she went with Jesse and her husband. owns a bike shop. So he like supplies Jesse with everything he needs for his Ironman and all of that. But anyway, the mountain climb. Yes.
So I did that. Got to meet the team and everyone there, and just been. I remember I was like, I don't know if it was on Clubhouse or something, going through my acquisition. He had an acquisition in his late 20s as well, and just curious on his opinion, and gave me some really good advice. And I mean, it's been like a back and forth thing for years, and I got to meet him at VCon, which was like Gary Vee's thing, and got to hang out in the speakers lounge a little bit. And
did you speak at that?
No.
But he did.
He was speaking, yeah.
Apparently it was life-changing.
And I know, and I missed it.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, he's like, did you see it? And I was like, I missed it. And I think he was pretty mad. But no, I think it was probably the best speech at the entire conference. Yeah. I think had everyone crying.
Social media loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm like,
he's like, I killed it. I'm like, I'm sure, I know you did.
I'm sure he did, yeah. So his coaching strategy, so he coached my son's basketball team. And his coaching strategy was every week, instead of going to the gym and working on basketball, he had the whole team over to his house, which is just beyond. It's my favorite house in Atlanta. It's amazing.
I'm not surprised.
And I mean, my marketing background is I've done marketing for a luxury real estate company for 15 years, or 15, 16, whatever it's been. So I've been in all the houses. So I had seen his house prior to him buying it. And then it's just phenomenal. And so he would have the whole team over, and he's got the basketball court or whatever, but he would just have the kids like play games, and he just was 100% focused on team building. It wasn't skill, it wasn't anything, it was just having the boys get to know each other. And I was like, that's the kind of guy you want to have as a coach. That's the kind of guy you want to know. Like, I'm so impressed with him.
Yeah, he's a special guy for sure.
Yeah. And his wife,
yeah, like, come on.
I mean, how do you, as a woman, like as a entrepreneurial woman, how do you get a better sort of like North Star?
Incredible.
What a couple.
Yeah, literally. Power couple.
Yeah,
for
totally.
Sure.
For those listeners who don't know, he's married to Sarah Blakely, who invented Spanx.
Yeah.
So,
small clothing shop.
Yeah, just a little like women maybe use it or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like getting to the end of the interview. This has been I could keep talking to you forever. I really enjoyed it. Your story is just fascinating. Are you still involved in the juice business?
My brothers run it. I help out whenever they need something that they think I'm good at. But for the most part, they're smart guys. They can handle it.
Cool. Do you anticipate starting another company in your lifetime?
Yeah, I tell people I'm kind of addicted to it,
Sure.
So probably, I mean, as long as I keep having fun, I think I'll keep doing it. And if at any point, I think the more I progress and the more I keep doing it and the more things grow, I'm starting to realize what I'm good at, what I'm not. And when you're first starting out, you think you're good at everything.
Sure.
So I'm starting to refine my pencil a little bit, and that makes it more exciting because when opportunities come, you're like, not really something I can compete with the best on, and then some other things come across, and you're like, ooh, that's for me.
Yeah.
And that part I think is going to be really fun.
Amazing. Well, I'm jealous. You're young and you're talented and you're smart and you've got a great successful track record. I'm excited. I'm glad I'm following you on Instagram now so I can see.
I got to start posting.
I can see what you're doing. It seems like
awesome.
a bright future ahead. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, and all my traders that want to biohack their sleep, we have a lot of listeners in Canada. Thank you to all our Canadian listeners. Big fan of the country, as I've already said. But So Canadian people, they can find you. They know about you, right? They can
Yeah.
find you.
They might have
wherever.
seen me on like Dragon's Den, which is like Shark Tank of Canada.
Oh shit! Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're like a celebrity. Wait,
Maybe.
are you verified?
I didn't accept it. I thought it was a little pretentious, but maybe I'll do it.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
To be able to turn down a verification.
I don't want to trash it because I might accept it at some point, but for now, I think I'm okay without.
You were on the Shark Tank of Canada? Like a real celeb. Okay, all right. Well, thank you for coming on. I didn't even know who I was talking to. Okay, so Canada, you're good. In the U.S., you're a trader. You're trying to get better. You want to buy everything you offer. You want the pillow. You want the sheets. You want the mattress. How do you do that?
Hushblankets.com, and then Canada's just hush.ca. We're getting hush.com, but now it's just hushblankets.com. Or on Amazon, either or. But if you want to support us, you support us on our website.
There we go. There we go. Okay, well, guys, I feel like it's the time. You got the opportunity. Support him. I mean, we like to support dreamers, and doers. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. I hope you're enjoying this episode. After this interview with Aaron, I really went down a rabbit hole with all the Hush products, and I'm so impressed with the quality of everything they have. They have weighted blanket, sheets, mattresses, all things that can help you sleep better, sleep and not get as hot, and lower your anxiety. If you would like to check out their products, please use the link in the show notes. Thank you.
By accessing this podcast, you acknowledge that the Penny Lane podcast makes no warranty, guarantee, or representation as to the accuracy or sufficiency of the information featured in this podcast. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only, and any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk. This podcast should not be considered professional or financial advice. Unless specifically stated otherwise, the Penny Lane podcast does not endorse, approve, recommend, or certify any information, product, process, service, or organization presented or mentioned in this podcast, and information from this podcast should not be referenced in any way to imply such approval or endorsement. The third-party materials or content of any third-party site referenced in this podcast do not necessarily reflect the opinions, standards, or policies of the Penny Lane podcast. The Penny Lane podcast assumes no responsibility or liability for the accuracy or completeness of the content contained in third-party materials or on third-party sites referenced in this podcast, or the compliance with applicable laws of such materials and/or links referenced herein.